Okay. Okay. Hello, everyone. We're going to start the webinar. This is the second webinar series for the Faith-Based Organizations Green Initiative. Today is June 12th. That's 2014. For anybody who's having problems on the computer, been able to log in or listen to on their computer mic, you can actually dial in to 1-800-780-8834. Simply put in the access code 3325888 and hit the pound key. We ask everybody at that time to hit the *6 to mute. The system is presented utilizing the Microsoft Link webinar series, so you can actually hear the recording, everything else online. Also, this webinar is being recorded this time. After the recording, we're going to actually send over everybody who participates a follow-up email, which will actually have the recording that will be located on our Google YouTube channel. That YouTube channel is at Chess LLC, so everybody will receive the link for that. And we also have all of our previous webinars, the one from June 5th, which is a really good one, and we'll actually cover a little bit about that today. And that webinar is dealing with the energy plan, the partners, and how everything gets set up with the energy plan and everything else. So I do want to go over some simple housekeeping items today. In order for you to have a larger screen, over on the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see an option for picking out a layout. If you choose the content view, it'll actually make it larger, and at that time, you can also choose on the same right-hand bottom corner, you can also choose to make the screen larger or full screen, and that'll allow you to have a larger presentational screen. Over on your left side of the screen, it is your chat window. And on your chat window, you can actually have, you can give questions. What we're doing is we're not answering questions live, but we are taking questions. And what you can do is you can actually put those questions in the chat window. You can also email those questions, and I'll put the email address inside of the chat window, and that is fbogreen@ourhealthministry.com. And so with that, you can actually give questions over. We're working with our health ministry, our partner at our health ministry. So we're utilizing that platform for our social content and our social networking with the FBO, the faith-based organizations. So that way that we can actually come together as a group. So let's get started here. We've got, like I said before, this right here is the webinar on energy grants, leasing, and financing. We've got one of our great partners with us, Real. With Jeremy, he'll actually be a part of the presentation a little bit later. With this presentation, we're going to go and talk about the energy plan, financing, how to get that started. So last week on June 5th, we really talked about the actual energy plan and how important it is for faith-based organizations to come together within this initiative to actually pull together a plan to figure out how to implement a renewable energy project. So with that, we really started to um, deal with some of the issues and some of the problems and some of the success needed to actually pull together a renewable energy plan. So what we did was is that last week, and we encourage everyone to go over the last week webinar on June 5th, talked about the actual energy plan. So within that plan, we went over certain parameters, and that is developing your partners, developing a leadership team within your FBO organization, developing a vision statement, putting together the energy environment baseline, developing specific goals, and this is extremely important, assigning tasks with the programs, identifying financing, and that's what we're going to be talking about today, confirming the plan, and then ultimately implementing the plan. And that was going to be extremely important when we talk about working with our partners with the FBO Green Initiative and really coming together for implementing the plans, doing what it takes to make the plan successful. And then last thing, what a lot of people really don't do, and that is doing a follow-up and monitoring the outcomes. So whatever the outcomes and whatever the goals we want to actually initiate with the renewable energy plan, we want to actually monitor and look at the successful. If you're last week we talked about actually doing a supply and demand and going from the demand side, and everybody remembered what the demand side was. That is the energy behind the meters. So individuals, so for individuals who is who are utilizing utilities and everything else. And the goal might be that they want to reduce their energy usage or electricity usage by 25%, their natural gas by 10%. So we want to make sure that we're reaching those goals, and that's what we do for our follow-up and our monitoring of those solutions. So when we talk about the initial stakeholders, and that's what we're talking about, a little bit today here. We want to go ahead and actually pull together our partners. Again, Chess, we are looking at our FBO initiative and working with our faith-based groups. We've been working with faith-based organizations for many years now with our health ministry partners, with our health initiatives. So we understand what it takes to be partners, but the whole initiative is actually bringing other partners, partners for financing and leasing, partners for manufacturing of renewable energy products with LED lighting for solar panels and everything else. So it's extremely important to actually look at who your partners are and make sure those partners are actively engaged and involved with the environment. So with that, we talk about our stakeholders. Again, we're going to be talking about our financing, but it's kind of important that you really get the baseline, based upon if you haven't been in this previous webinar on June 5th, and I encourage everybody to go there. Well, we talked about who are our stakeholders. Well, our stakeholders are obviously our utility companies, and of course the FBO Green, our FBO or faith-based organizations, and then we have our private sector, and that would be okay. So looks like apologize here. It looks like we're having some problems. We can't hear you on the phone. I called and I can't hear you also. Okay, so we're gonna make sure that we can get on the calls. Can everybody hear me on the computer? If not, let me know. And then what we'll do is we're going to make sure we got some technical problems resolved here. So hold on 1 second, okay? I'm going to try to resolve the technical problems on the phone. Okay, can everybody hear me on the phone now, or are we still having problems? We'll try to resolve those here pretty quickly here. 1 second. And we'll keep pressing forward. So, can everybody hear on the phone, or are we still having problems? Okay, we can hear. Yes, great. Okay, so let's go ahead and actually press forward. And from here, let's go ahead and do this. Okay, great. So as we look at our stakeholder utility partners, we're going to go ahead and actually talk about how that's important to understand financing your projects, because each one of the partners will actually be participating within the financing system here. So let's talk about some of the areas of financing. So there is basically a government sponsored side and a private financing side. So the government sponsor side, and this is extremely important because we have clients right now that it amazes me to this day that all the different talk about renewable energy projects and everything else, a lot of people still do not understand, both on the commercial side, the nonprofit side, and on the residential side, that they actually have incentives available. Last week on June 5th, we talked about in Ohio, there is a Senate Bill 221 that allows the utility companies to tack on a portion of their bill, a portion of your bill, and that is commercial, residential, and everything else. A portion of your bill is tacked on to actually to pay for renewable and energy efficiency projects. This was started since 2009, and it goes all the way, I think it's 2025. And what it is, it goes into a pot of money, and then those utility companies can utilize that to give out money, a portion of it, to give back to their customers to initiate renewable energy projects. Okay, so we said the connection is weak. We're just going to make sure that it gets a little bit louder here. So we'll try to get it a little bit louder. Okay. All right. So hopefully that's a little bit better. So great. So we actually have like I said before, the Senate Bill 221, which everybody can look at, utilizing the Public Utility Commission. And remember, last week we talked about what exactly is the Public Utility Commission. Every state in the union actually has a Public Utility Commission that negotiates the utility bills for whatever utility entities are inside of that state. But those incentives and rebates are ultimately available. So again, in Ohio, that's available. But the sad thing about it is that sometimes it's very hard to understand all the different things you have to do to actually receive those funding. So again, what we're trying to do with the initiative and with our partners is make sure that our faith-based organizations can actually take advantage of those rebates and incentives. And then you actually have your green grants. There's green grants available. Home Depot, give an example. Home Depot actually has a green grants available. There's other green grants available. Give an example in Georgia. There's a green grants available for just specifically for faith-based organizations for implementing solar thermal projects. And again, the sad thing about that is that several faith-based organizations did not take advantage of that because they didn't know. There's also renewable energy credits and rebates and everything else. On the private sector, on the private side, there's green, bank loans, green mortgages. We're going to be talking with Jeremy today from Real. There is renewable energy leasing, and then there's other programs that are called on-bill payments, where you can actually receive payments, everything else through the utility companies. So if we look at how we set up our projects here, and this right here is a perfect example of a project capital structure that we worked on before in the past. And here's your renewable energy project here. And you have multiple ways to go and finance it. Usually we go through rebates, grants, a little bit of grants, renewable energy, special programs. There does come with some of an issue with not tax exempt organizations. That would be with faith-based organizations, where we would actually have to pull together a partner like Chess, like us, to actually to be a what's called a flip, where we would actually take over the tax credits, because of course a tax exempt organization cannot deal with or actually accept those tax exemption credits, but we would actually take over those and actually pass it on to our partners, our FBO, our faith-based organization partners. So we would actually manage the whole process, work with, pulling together as a partner with our faith-based organizations to actually help finance the project. Last week and during our June 5th, we talked about this. We actually showed a real project with a bank in California. With the FBO, faith-based organization in California, where they actually did and implemented a faith-based LED project, where the initial project was, I think it was maybe $10,000, with all the rebates and tax credits and everything else. That project basically had a return on investment within 9 months. So the project went through. We actually went through the project, implemented the project. Within 9 months, they had a return on their investment. So we can work with this. It's a great way to look at this. But again, a lot of times what we do is these projects actually is hybrid as far as financing. And you really need to have a partner to actually walk you through those different parameters. So what we want to do here is we want to go ahead and actually bring on our partner, Real, and with Jeremy. Jeremy will actually introduce himself. He'll actually go through what Real does as a renewable energy partner. I'm going to load up his presentation now. And if we can get Jeremy, are you on the line?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, great. So just give me a few seconds here, and I will load up your presentation real fast.
Just let me know when you're ready.
I will be ready in a few minutes. Just have to find that location where I had you at. Okay. Can everybody see the presentation?
I do not have it showing on my screen.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, we're ready to go.
Alright. Well, if you want to flip it, obviously our company name is acronymed REAL. It stands for Renewable Energy Equipment Leasing. My name is, again, Jeremy Dipple. I'm a representative here. To go over a bit about our company, we were founded in 2007 as a child of waste industry leasing. We naturally grew from a leasing perspective. We've always been financial at our core and felt it best to go into renewable sustainable. Our core values are integrity, excellence, commitment, and responsibility. And that's not just for the financial aspects of us, but also towards the earth and in general. We were able to partner with people such as Chess to place ourselves basically the axis of all aspects of these projects that James has been speaking about, so that we were able to fill in any gaps. And what we've noticed mostly is that financing is one of the biggest gaps that you have, especially with faith-based organizations. They look to non-taxable things. So depending on the size of your project, we can even go out for something as simple as non-taxable bond issuance, but we'll get into that later. If you want to go ahead and flip the page, James. One of the advantages with us, as I was stating, is we have a distribution and sales by partnering with people like Chess, who can also do your project development. And then we have our core financial products that we can bring to the table and help Chess and their clients move forward. Go ahead and move forward, James. First, I'll talk about residential advantage products. So if you've got your home and you want to improve, first couple of things we offer, if you want to go ahead and flip to the next page as well so you can see the advantage in 10 and 20 at the same time, James.
Okay.
And this will be made available afterwards so you can read through in detail. It's an FHA Title I home improvement loan. We offer that through detailed due diligence through several of the people that offer it, through the banking partners that we have and investment partners that we have. It offers somebody that owns not only a single family house, but maybe faith-based organizations that have apartment housing for some of their ministries. They can use this product as well, so they can upgrade their hot water heaters, gutters, siding, name it. It has a litany of things that are available for use with this product. You can get up to $25,000. Credit scores only have to be in the low 640. And you can have terms as long as 20 years. With no money down, this is 100% financing. If it's through the church, then it would go through a traditional nonprofit or / commercial application, in which case it's simply supplying financials and moving forward in that direction. And we can talk more in detail if you have some specific product that you want to look at. I'm going to go ahead and flip the page a couple times so you will see. We want to go to the Advantage 30, James.
Okay.
3 pages down.
Did I go too far?
Now, it'll say Residential Advantage Products, Advantage 30 at the top of the slide. And I'm not going to go reading through the whole detail of it. I wanted to supply it so that everyone could utilize it. And what you would need to do with this is it pulls equity from your home, sort of like a home equity line. You can also do a refinance through this product. There's multiple different avenues under this product, such as building a home as well. If you want to build new construction, you can use this. Again, it's 100% financing, and you can use it for solar panels or solar hot water or LED lighting, insulation, anything that's considered green or sustainable. It does qualify with this product. Once you've met the stipulations of the particular product that you want to use, loan via wire from the particular banking industry that we have audited. Go ahead and flip the page. Next thing you should see is commercial finance program. This is going to be more along the lines of what the faith-based organizations as a whole are going to want to look at. Typical terms for a small project, which we consider anywhere from 20 to 60,000. Your terms will range from 3 to 7 years. You can get up to 10 years on certain credit models. Terms are a result of the credit and transaction dollar value. The finance amounts, they start about 20,000. Got a cap here, but at this point in time, we really have no cap. We can go, I think the highest thing right now is a little over $1 billion. So if you want to do a small church, or if you want to build an entire convention center, something similar to
Lakewood.
stadium, a football stadium. Yeah, I'm trying to think of something that stands out for everyone, depending on where they are in the world.
Right.
But thank you. Yeah, football stadium, baseball stadium, we can do something like that as well. Payment structures, they're flexible. I mean, we're going to find the best way and the least expensive way for you to get this project completed. We will look to grants. We will look to available rebates. A good website in this line of thought is desireusa.org. It's DSIRE USA.org. And it will give you state by state, city by city listing of every rebate that the government offers and utility company offers, and the eligibility dates and the different qualifications thereunder. This is something you can utilize in concert with chess to make sure that you're getting the best bang for your dollar. There is a pre-qualification process once we get all of the paperwork. We do that in-house for nothing. We make sure that we vet it against viable banking institutions or investors. We get a solid rate and term and then offer that to the organization to make sure that they agree with the rate and term before we ask for the application fee that is required by the investor to make sure that we're going to move forward. Well, flip the page there, James. Should say commercial finance program, page 2.
Okay, let me
So benefits of leasing.
All right, so let me go back over there. Then I know that's where it's at. So here's the benefits of leasing. Yes,
It's okay. Right, so we're going to do lots of things by using the lease structure. We're going to preserve our working capital. With faith-based organizations, you got your donation base, so your capital line is something that you probably need to keep there in case of emergency. So if we're able to move forward with a lease structure and a small payment, you can keep that working capital for whatever comes up. Same thing with preserving your lines of credit, your purchase options. You provide tax benefit advantages, being non-profit. With a lease structure, you're able to capture, as you were saying earlier, those tax benefits through an outside investor and then feed them back into the organization with lower costs on the product. This, as I just mentioned, lowers your payments, gives you alternative financing options, and lets you defer purchasing options if you so wish. You can just lease it, and if you decide you don't like the upgrade, you can end the lease at the end of the decided term and move it on. In doing that, you also can avoid technological advances, where if something comes out and you want the next best thing, you can just do that with your next lease. Want to flip the page for me, James? So now you should be at municipal finance program. These are a lot more detailed. If you're doing a municipal project in conjunction with your organization, such as growing your building to the size of a football field, you would need to get the municipality involved. With such, There is some differences from the commercial or nonprofit lease. One of them is they need the option to own or retain ownership. Payments under the lease and the return of principal interest, with interest being exempt from federal taxation, which basically means the payment will have the interest automatically included in it rather than it be separated because they are exempt from the taxation of that. And the lease allows for termination of non-appropriation of funds by the municipal entity, so if they run out of money, they don't have to keep it. Flip the page, James. This is just a rundown of our services that we provide to Chess and thereby to all their clients. They can pick and choose, or they can do just one. Basically, distribution and logistics, project funding and financing, which is the majority of what we do, project development, engineering, EPC work, and we can also help spread out and partner you with people if you need some assistance for bonding issues or whatnot by having one of the largest dealer networks in the nation. I'll flip the page, James. Some of the partnerships that we've already garnered, as you can see, is Chess. We have Kumo LEDs, Bosch, ABB, Oppenheimer, maybe an investment company you're familiar with. And I'll leave you to look through those to see. Flip the page, James. Our capital markets division, the division that reaches out worldwide. So if your organization has a project that may be in another country, we can also help you with that. Partnered with Chess, we can make anything happen for you.
You know,
Page for me.
I just want a little touch base on this one. This is kind of important for a faith-based organization. What Jeremy just stated there, we have several different FBOs that are doing reach out or outreach programs in Africa. So what Jeremy just stated right there was kind of important. We can, with the help of Real, we can actually help do projects that are possibly doing outreach projects in other continents, such as Africa, or we have one FPO that is doing projects inside of the Philippines after that huge storm in the Philippines. So this is extremely important if you want to actually expand your outreach to these different to the different countries to actually develop renewable energy projects. So this is extremely important for this right here.
Exactly. Flip the page. This is just a quick run through. A few of the jobs that we've done, just sort of examples. We did an LED project in Fort Knox, and we were able to cut their utility bill by $600,000 a month. That made a big impact, not just for Fort Knox, but that's our tax dollars, so we were pretty proud of that. And it was only 8.5 megawatts worth of energy that was done there. If you want to flip the page for me, James. This was put in here just so you guys could sort of see what we have accomplished in the past. We did a wind project in Oregon City schools. There's a press release and news footage. And again, the Swago project, which is there in Ohio, it actually reversed the lifespan of the landfill. So it's going to last 50 years now. And when we get done with the 10-year project that we're doing, it will actually reverse the life and we'll be mining some of the minerals that are caused by having a landfill. So it'll become usable land within the next 15, 20 years. Flip the page. These are some of the areas that we've done solar installations around the world. Flip it again there for me. This is our current North America immersion map. Flip it one more time for me. And we do consider ourselves, as it says, the complete solution. Because of our large dealer network, our partnerships with people like Chess, owner and developer, lead generation software, we can bring in opportunities that you may not even know about. We are leaders in the alternative energy financing industry. And with all of these combined, we make ourselves a turnkey solution. So if you have something that you wish to do, by going through us through Chess, you'll be able to accomplish those goals. That's pretty much all I got for you guys. If you have questions, I'm certainly available.
Oh,
And they will forward my contact information on.
wow. That right there was awesome, Jeremy. I mean, to let everyone know, and this is exactly what the Green Initiative, is trying to do with our faith-based organizational partners, pulling together actual partners that can really make a change. Like Jeremy made a statement on that, in which we know this together as being project managers for projects. Financing and pulling together stakeholders is probably one of the weakest issues that we find with working with partners. And so having an international partner with the FBOs pulling everything together is extremely important. And then what we'll do is we encourage everyone that if they have anybody have any questions, obviously we want everybody to join the initiative. That's at the www.chess-llc.com/FBO Green. Fill out the form where we can actually pull together or add you into the project. Right here is the Chest FBO Green Initiative. So it gives you an example again of what we talked about, and we'll keep explaining this all the time. This is the initial initiative. We're starting off, but we are expanding it. We are starting initially with the initiative, which we're starting this already. We're already in phase one with 10 FBO, faith-based organizations in the city of Cleveland, Detroit, Atlanta, and Houston. Obviously, we're going to be jumping on to the phase two. We are looking at expanding this. So, don't worry about it if you don't think you're going to be able to get in. Please go and let's get it in, because we're looking at expanding this. We've already gotten a lot of good words and a lot of faith-based organizations really wanting to get involved with this. Obviously, what Jeremy was talking about earlier, what areas are we looking at? We're looking at energy efficiency, LED lighting, solar PV, solar thermal, on-site management of the energy, water, and equipment usage, indoor environmental quality. But really expanding this because now we're starting to find out with FBO Greens, and especially, give an example, in my church, we actually have a restaurant within the church. So there's other things we can do with energy efficiency, things like coolers. Jeremy made a very good point. I happen to know several different faith-based organizations that do own housing, multi-unit housing units, senior citizen homes, and everything else, where that would be extremely imperative for them to actually implement a renewable energy program to reduce the cost of their operating expenses. Last week in June 5th, and I think we're going to start recapping these webinars, we really talked about, why it's important to implement a plan, and that is so that we can actually do budgeting and cost analysis. With that, we can actually pull together or utilize that other funding available for other missions and projects. So if we're actually implementing a project, a renewable energy project, or an energy efficiency project, or a remodeling project, that capital can be utilized to do for outreach. Let's say workforce development, which is a great segue into what's happening on June 19th. So June 19th, what we're doing is we're actually working on our next webinar, and the next webinar is workforce development, creating jobs with our faith-based green initiative. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to talk about actually implementing our satellite system for our online training. The Green Initiative, the FBO Green Initiative, is actually doing something a little bit different. So it's just not training. What we're doing is we're actually backing the training with job opportunities. And that's the new thing now. So instead of actually pulling together funding, we're working with our partners so that we can actually get people to actually do a work study program as soon as they finish out the training, whether online, because we have our online program where we're doing training, and then for certain FBO Green organizations, that are large enough and can actually handle the capacity, we're actually doing on-site organizations, but we have to work with our partners, make sure that they have the facility to do on-site workforce development training centers, where we're actually having it where those individuals are moving into a position. So that was one of the lapses inside of workforce development and green technology. So next week on June 19th, 2014, noon Eastern Standard Time, and then of course Central it'll be Central Time it'll be 11, Mountain it'll be 10, and Pacific it'll be 9. We're actually doing our workforce development. As we stated before, all of our questions and answers will be available if all you simply do is send your questions to fbogreen at ourhealthministry.com. We will actually go through it. Again, we're also looking for everybody to go to www.chess-llc.com/FBO Green. From there, we're actually putting up our webinars, putting a link to our YouTube channel where this webinar and our past webinars will be available, and also our form to allow you to be added in as a FBO partner. So that form, you can simply go to www.chess-llc.com/FBO Green. From there, just fill out the form, and you'll be added into the FBO Green Initiative, and then we can move forward on whatever Green Initiative project we're working on. Again, I thank everybody for coming out for this webinar. I look forward for getting our FBO Green participants and our faith-based organizations to participate inside of this program. We're expanding it for this complete summer of 2014. We're going to have a webinar every month, and we're going to pull together partners, industry-leading partners, to talk about this initiative. Thank you, and I look forward to everybody participating.